Milsurp Garage. All right, we did a little Glock 17 modification. And let's show you what it was. I was watching a Lenny Magill video. Lenny Magill, the Glock store, the infamous Glock store. Never liked this part. Something about, it's not just the Gen 5 spring, but just something about the Glock guide rod recoil spring just bothered me, that it was plastic. And you could see it like through here, plastic with the hole in it. I don't, it just bothered me always, you know. So I don't know much about these parts that are available for Glocks and stuff like that. I mean, I've only seen just like slides and things like that, and I know it's extended you know, slide locks and things like that. But we did a video on this, popped up, and my ears perked up because I was like, yeah, I hate that thing. And it's heavier, supposed to, like, you know, it says on here reduce recoil, you know, but the reason I really wanted to get it is just because it's metal, it's tungsten steel, and you look at this, let me like zoom in a little here. Look at this, like rivet on the back of here that looks like it's about to like fall out of there. And then the difference here in this machining. It's a much higher quality part. And when it's in here, you know, you just see the metal. Metal is, you know, a very similar texture even to the coating. So whoops, sorry. Stop. So I got it. And that's one of the recent modifications I have done. Also, recently, we got some realistic snap caps in. I've had the 9mm ones, but we got some others so we could play around with different calibers. And man, it's some of these older guns, I'm telling you, like, wow, you saw messing around with the Krag. It's really cool to play with the ammo for a Krag, you know. And even this, you put in something like that, like even that spring in there. And these are inert, by the way. Don't lest you think I'm chambering rounds here. I'm not. These things are for function testing. Put in something new like a spring like that or anything else, and you just want to make sure that, you know, things are working right. And this is the way to do it. We can even go nice and slow. Will it pick it up slow? Yes, it will. Will it go into battery? No, it will not. It's not the oldest Glock 17. It's pretty new, so still a little on the stiff and tight side. But yeah, listen, these things are definitely well worth the price. And you get 10% off if you check out code Milsurp Garage. One word, MILSURPGARAGE. That'll get you 10% off and free shipping. And yeah. Oops, oh, double feed. See, messed something up. What do we do? How do we clear that? So we got a double feed. Look at that one. That's not even in the magazine. So what do we do here? And look, we can't get the magazine out because that's halfway. This is a good one. This is a good one to play around with. I'm kind of glad this happened. That's why you don't put a plug back here. You know that plug that goes back here that you could, some of them you could put a round in it. Most police departments don't want the officers doing anything with that because that's for your thumb to dig in here behind the mag. Because right now the mag's stuck because that round's halfway out of the mag, see? So you got to be able to dig your thumb in here and have enough strength to really yank that out of there to pull that around the feed ramp that it was stuck on. And then we rack. Even just looking at that, I don't know if I'd refeed. I'd either push that in or probably safer just to shove it out. Well, no, I had to push another one back in anyway. So clearing a malfunction like that is what you play with these things for, because, you know, God forbid the slide is, you know, you have a round, you could have a round jiggling around in here, and the slide can come forward in just such a way, you know, just such a way to hit that primer or whatever. You never know. It'll never happen with these, I'll tell you that. It could possibly happen with real ammo. It's even that would be rare, but it could happen. It'll never happen with these. Ever. That's the point. And what else? Okay, so I went to a gun show. And there's another one this weekend. So maybe I'll have something to show you for this weekend, but nothing for this past gun show. And it was a weird gun show. It's a gun show where everyone that goes there is a club member, is from this club. So 3 times a year, they have meetings twice a month. They have a gun show 3 times a year. So if you go there, you're looking at 40 tables. Everyone there is from the club, and you're all looking at stuff that nobody in the club wanted. So it's either because it's too expensive and they want too much for it, that even their own club people are like, "You're crazy, I'm not buying that from you," or this stuff is just the bottom of the barrel stuff that nobody wanted. But every once in a while I see something cool there. I go anyway, just for the hell of it. It's fun to look around. And but I found this book, so you always find something there. Never even heard of this book before. Evolution of the Winchester by Bruce McDowell. $5 I got this book for, right? Now, what was cool about this was, we've looked at the Winchester stuff before now. You know, it's kind of interesting when you look at these guys, these like old volcanic, the Smith & Wessons, and when Winchester became involved, like way back then. You know, you got these names like Lewis Jennings repeating rifle, and who's this other guy? I forgot. Walter Hunt. You know, like, there's a lot of history here at the very, very beginning of things. With these, there were bullets that were like, the bullet had powder inside of it itself, and it was like a rocket or something. It was called the rocket something. The Jennings rifle, the toggle links that these things had. These are even before the volcanics. And some of these, they're like $50,000 guns, these things too, by the way. These volcanics, like these. And look at these toggle links that are in here and everything. This is pre-Browning, before Browning came and got involved. You know, I mentioned Mark Novak. If you go, he's uploading all of his old videos from C and Arsenal into his own channel. Mark Novak is the name of the channel. MARK space NOVAK. Go check him out, subscribe, tell him I sent you. And he's posting a video from a while ago. He's posting all of his older videos up, and one of them happens to be on him restoring or conserving, he calls it conservation, conserving one of these volcanics. And he talks about how this whole toggling system here was the shit until Browning came along and just eliminated all this slop that was in here with just locking lugs and stuff. It's very, very, very interesting. You look at the 1886 and those locking lugs, they don't look so revolutionary until you really look and see what was before it. So even though these kind of guns, not only can I not afford them, but they're not really in my interest for collecting, it just makes it even all the more important to have books on those, because you're not going to actually have those guns to examine. So having good books, if you really want to know the history and pay attention to the history, that's important. And what's cool about this book is, it's a book from 1985, right? And it's out of print. I can't get it no more. I got it for $5. I looked online. I can't find this book for less than $50. If you could find one for around the price that I got it for, or even if you want to pay $50, I'd say it's even worth it. What's interesting about it is, the whole book is only on, like other books that I have, that's only like half a chapter, and then they're moving on into Browning's Winchester rifles. This book never even leaves that. It doesn't even get into Browning stuff. You know what I mean? That's how early I'm here at the end of the book, and I'm still looking about, Civil War and stuff, and you know what I mean? It's just old school stuff in this book. And I've been fascinated with it, just looking at these pictures, looking at this, man, and these things are money. You have one of these, boy. Woo. So I got this book. Yep, this book was awesome. And what else? That's about it. I'm like pulling my hair out with putting this next video together. It's really for me taking a while. filmed one and just didn't like it and discarded it. So that's what's taken so long. And number two, I did a video at this gun show and was told after a certain amount of time, maybe I was filming for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I was told not to film anymore and that they didn't want, what was I filming for? And I said, I have a YouTube channel and I talk about, if you want, I could advertise for a show. If you don't want me to, I don't have to. And they were like, well, we don't want you to put up anything at all. They're so afraid of cameras. I don't know what it is. But I respected their wishes. So that was the end of my gun show video. Maybe at this next show, I know this guy that runs this show. Maybe he wouldn't mind if I went around and took some videos of stuff that's out at the table. Or maybe I should just do it surreptitiously. Either way, we are going to be seeing each other real soon, and I'm going to be putting a video together for you. Anybody know what the Glock drop is? I'm going to show you what the Glock drop is. The Glock drop is when you're in either some form of law enforcement training, or you're at the range and for some reason you decide to disassemble your Glock, or you're just generally around a lot of people, like at a gun show, and you go to like examine one inside if you're going to buy it. There's a million different scenarios where you can embarrass the hell out of yourself, but this is what the Glock drop is in those scenarios, what you do. So you got the mag out, you're clearing it, and pulling the trigger is an essential part to taking it apart, but actually putting your finger on the trigger and pulling the trigger in most cleaning, training scenarios when you're not actually at the range goes against all gun safety protocol training. So a lot of times it's easy to forget to do that. So what you would do is you would go to release the slide and realize it's not coming, and then you go, oh, I didn't pull the trigger. But the problem is this is halfway to being off, so that when you actually hold it now and pull the trigger, you do the Glock drop.